and welcome back to LinkedIn Logs, the jobs podcast / business podcast for the website C Plus Comedy. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Episode 52 of the job. I just stopped the clock. Stop the clock. Jump, 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 jump. Oh my God. Usually I save that kind of humor for the Constitutionals or Late Night Lately. But man, oh man, every so often I just want to throw it back to the comedy godfather that is Bill Maher. You know, I love speaking of Late Night Lately, I love watching Bill Maher. I think everything he's just real, man. You get it? He's so real. He's so real about everything he does, and he's just right on top of it, you know? He's just like, we just need him in comedy. Welcome back. Episode 52 to the Jobs Podcast. What's been going on in my world of job hunting, job doing? I'll tell you one thing. I finally turned off the reactions on Apple on the Mac. So now I can wave my thumb around. I can do peace signs without fear of the computer spitting out video reactions. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Balloons. Me, I can do my peace signs. I can finally do my Richard Nixon impression. I am not a crook. It pays to watch the video, not to get the video. I don't charge for this. I never will. Episode 52. Third time I say it. You know, it's so interesting. So I've been off of LinkedIn for, I don't know, maybe like, even recording this show, maybe like 3 weeks or so, like longer than that, definitely longer than 3 weeks. And truly the last week, not last week, but today and maybe like 1 or 2 days last week, I go to LinkedIn. I say I came because I'm on there right now. But I go to LinkedIn, go to the job section, pay it no mind. But because I have not been here in several weeks, I'm getting all the things that people have liked previously, all the posts and stuff. And a lot of these are like 3 weeks old, a month old, 5 days, whatever. And it's so interesting. It's so interesting to see, because I mostly follow people, or I am connected with people in my industry. But before that, before I started working even the Weather Channel, I wasn't connected to a lot of people in my industry. So everybody before that, prior to that, came from these worlds of industrial work or corporate work. And even those industries are struggling. We're seeing people be booted from jobs left and right, or people leave jobs left and right and have nowhere to go. And it feels like at this point in time, and then on the flip side, we're also seeing jobs have ridiculous requirements when it comes to, companies have ridiculous requirements when it comes to jobs. And I'm seeing a lot more posting, quote unquote, from the heart from these stupid idiots, not jobs, on LinkedIn. First of all, if you write on LinkedIn regularly, you're insane. Go to therapy. And don't talk about it. Just go to therapy. Same thing for people who post on TikTok regularly. It feels as though we're at this point where people aren't really excited about what they do. Or even if they're not excited and they don't have the option to leave, they decide to truly just put their head down and stick it out. And it sucks. And they're talking, in vague terms. Oh, sometimes companies have to treat you right in order for you to succeed. Things like that. If anything, I know this has come back to bite me in the ass 10 times more than it's ever paid off. But in the end, wouldn't you want to have stood up for something and done something than to have some company walk all over you? And I understand, these companies can come back and say, well, we don't want you here. And that's happened to me. That happened at CNN. It happened at the Weather Channel. It happened at NBC News. You know what? I'm better than those people. He's a fucking daytime Emmy. But I would rather have stood for something than have stood for nothing. And I see all this BS, this mental health stuff, this being a parent, all this stuff on here on LinkedIn. And the thing is, you're talking behind the people's back. I love talking shit to people's faces. A, no one's going to do anything to me. B, at least you have it off your chest and you've done something about it. Because only cowards, I watched a lot of Westerns when I was at Bounce TV. So I've seen every major Western that there is possible. I've seen the very first movie, and I've seen modern day stuff. And then I fell in love with Westerns. But what is common in all of them is that cowards shoot the cowboy in the back rather than face them face to face and do. Even Rango, I just rewatched Rango so I can say this. But even Rango was like, look at me and face me. Even A Million Ways to Die in the West, Seth MacFarlane's character wasn't good with a gun, but hey, he still faced Liam Neeson. So what I'm saying is, the worst they could do is fire you. That's truly the worst they could do. There's nothing else. If I'm going to talk shit about a company, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it there. I'm going to do it to their face, what have you. Yeah, it's going to come back to bite me. But I'm tired of seeing this. My mental health isn't. I applied for the job. I'm not going to call them out. Just do it. Call them out. Call them out. Anyway, Hoda Kotb is leaving the Today Show. And word came, people were like, whoa, it's been 26 years. Hoda's one of the best. I like Hoda a lot. It's great to have a woman of color in such a prestige position. Now, this comes from The Wrap. It's written by Stephanie Kaloy. Hoda made the decision to leave her on her own. She decided to exit today after NBC proposed a cut to her $20 million salary. And the first thing I thought when I saw that was, good for Hoda. Good for Hoda. She earned her way up there. And this is a decision that I'm sure didn't come easily. I'm sure there was a back and forth between her people and NBC Universal. And then at some point she was just like, you know what? I don't give a shit. A lot of cursing this episode. I'm not going to mark it as explicit. Now, in recent news, again, I mentioned before, there's a retraction in this industry. TV shows, movies, people are getting let go. TV shows are getting canceled or were canceled post the strike, post the pandemic. Movies are getting smaller budgets unless they're these big blockbusters. Companies are just trying to retain their money for the studios. Hoda has worked 26 years as the face of Today, taking the lead when Matt Lauer was revealed to be a disgusting person. I will side with Hoda. I will side with the talent. I'm a person behind the scenes, but I will side with the talent. I sided with what's her name, Scarlett Johansson, even though I'm not a fan of hers. And when Disney released Black Widow straight to streaming and she didn't get the money that she deserved, that she earned. Look, the only reason, and then recently, in the past couple of weeks, it was revealed that Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show lost its Friday show. And if that meant people were able to keep their jobs, then great. They don't need 5 shows a week. The only way, and I was quipping about this last night to myself, to no one else, well, the pets and the ghosts. The only way, if I were Hoda, the only way I would have stayed if they were going to take away from my salary, which is, but by all means, other companies have done this, and by other companies I mean CNN. CNN has slashed some of their anchors' salaries, and no one left. There's people that have been reshuffled, but no one left. They slashed Anderson Cooper, Wolf Blitzer, a bunch of other people's salaries. No one left because CNN's the biggest platform, compared to this. But the only way that Hoda, if I was in Hoda's position, that I would have stayed is if, okay, I'm making $20 million a year. You want to take away my money? Fine. Lovely. Great. Make me one of the biggest producers for NBC News, period. I want to help change the direction of NBC News. I want to have a say in that. Give me production deals. Give me that. I would truly leverage it like that. That's all according to Puck via The Wrap. They say that executives told her, salary network executives told her couldn't be, her salary could not be justified anymore. I'm sorry, I'm reading half a sentence. Kotb announced that she was leaving in last Thursday's episode of Today. Yeah. I mean, $20 million's a lot. And yes, I understand NBC Universal trying to recoup that money, but only if they're going to put it elsewhere and to good use. Because look, I said before, I'll say again, I don't need that much money. 20 million. If I made a 15th of what David Zaslav makes, I'd be happy. I don't need giant houses. Just let me just pay rent right now. On the same notion, this comes from Deadline, written by Ted Johnson. Scripps News is cutting more than 200 jobs, scaling back national news programming amid difficult linear TV advertising market. I could have told them this 4 years ago, 5 years ago. What year is it? 2024? And I was laid off in 2021. I could have told them this 3 years ago that this was a bad idea. Before I was like, I could have told like that nobody is looking. Linear news is not something that people are searching for. Linear TV, on the other hand, shows can exist. Look at The Teacher on Hulu. I think that's what it's called. English Teacher on Hulu. A queer show. I don't think has any people of color in it. That's not true. I think the lead guy is a person of color, but I don't know. But this show is doing bonkers critically. I'm not sure about numberly, but critically, ratings wise, it is doing so well for both FX and Hulu. Look at The Bear. Look at Yellowstone. Look at The Penguin. The Penguin has only been out for 3 weeks, and I believe the first episode between streaming and HBO has about 11 million views. That is sensational for these times. Why does Scripps think that they have the capacity to go nationwide and go the way that they were aiming, go toe-to-toe with both CNN, Fox News, not both, CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC, while also trying to trace the footsteps of your local news, your KCALs, your WSBs, your other one, I don't know any other local, your WRCWs. I believe that might be Augusta, or it might be one of the Carolinas. My friend worked there, and that's the only reason I know it. But why, Maverick? It's okay, buddy. He's sleeping and he's barking in his sleep. He's been doing that recently. I think he's still scared from being a stray. But why do you think Scripps, Adam Simpson, the asshole reason why I don't have a job, why do you think Why do you think that you could have gone head to head with any one of those? I don't like Fox News, but why do you think Scripps News would have been a good thing for them? What they should have done, and I'm not sure how their competition, as in Nexstar and is Nexstar, is that what? What's the other news one? What's the far right one that's the same thing as Scripps? What is that? I don't know. It's what Andrew, not Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo has a new show. What is his show on? Newsmax. Oh Jesus, I couldn't even think that far. Let me go to his Instagram. I think it's Newsmax. Newsmax and News Nation. I do not watch any of that. I do not listen to that. However, they are smart in their approaches to news, and I'm sure they're hemorrhaging money, but they are smart in their approaches to news in that they are online only. You have to search them out to find them. And they have a big enough audience to be sustainable. For Scripps News, I never saw that. Like for Spectrum, right? Is it Spectrum News? Spectrum News, that was created by Charter. That one even has a better way because they built up from the bottom and they're only available in looks like less than 20 places. So why does Scripps think that they could go way above their competitors? It's like if Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music, if there was another musical competitor that was like Lululemon Music or TikTok Music, for example. TikTok Music, that diverted TikTok's its focus from its video aspirations. Music costs a lot of money. So why pay for two catalogs when you need to be like, all right, you know what? Let's get rid of this music service. TikTok Music is now gone, so now ByteDance can focus on TikTok proper and let that go against Instagram Reels and in some cases YouTube and in some cases traditional TV. But Scripps News, now 200 people are out of jobs because you have no idea what you want it to be. That's the same. It's the same fall that the latest version of G4 Tech TV took because NBC Universal the person who, NBC Universal, right? Because it was some young guy. NBC Universal, they brought it back and they went way too hard. Like, no, focus online first. Don't try to become a linear channel again. They're going to retain a core reporting team based in Washington, D.C. to serve local stations, but that's about it. But 24-hour news, over-the-air cut, like all that stuff, no. 50 Scripps News staff members will remain to report for their local news audiences and produce the streaming and digital content, all under the Scripps News brand. Scripps bought the news channel Newsy in 2014 and rebranded as Scripps News in 2023. The channel was launched as an over-the-air network in 2021 and has also been available on OTT platforms. Additionally, we're seeing layoffs at Paramount Plus. This comes from Nelly Andriva. And among those, at Deadline, and among those, this comes from Lynette Rice at Deadline, was a 29-year Paramount veteran, Tina Koyanagi Rosener. I believe I pronounced it better in last week's episode of The Constitutionals. And 6 of her fellow colleagues and content strategy for Paramount Plus were among those hundreds that were laid off last Tuesday as a part of Paramount Global's plan to slash 15% of its workforce. George Cheeks, Chris McCarthy, Brian Robbins, who are all the co-CEOs for now at Paramount Plus, wrote to staff this morning that they were aiming to achieve $500 million in annual cost savings with layoffs, a key component in hitting that target. Warner, Disney, Netflix, all these companies, they're seeing that the spending was too much over these past few years, and they have to, or on streaming, and they have to reel it back in. People aren't watching a lot, and if they are watching a lot, they're only watching the things that they really want to watch. And they're going to milk that. These companies are going to milk that for all that it's worth. People are going to lose jobs. And at some point, people are going to pivot. But there's, a lot of people can't pivot. A lot of people, those are their dreams. For me, it's my dream. And I don't know how much longer I'm going to get lucky enough to be able to scrape around and make rent or feed the pets or whatever in order to keep the dream alive. Paramount Plus's communications operation is basically being dissolved. The SVPs, Morgan Seal, Amanda Carey, and Diva Kehoe, that Nelly Andreeva writes, are among those that are impacted. Prior to this, 2 weeks ago, there was a departure of Aaron Calhoun, who oversaw the department as Executive Vice President, Head of Communications, Paramount Streaming, and Showtime, and cross-company publicity. Calhoun, she handled publicity, photo, events, awards, talent relations, all that stuff. That's all being eliminated at Paramount Plus and is now going to be handled by the studio supplying the streamer, including CBS Studios and MTV Studios. That was already done in other areas, including programming with the disbandment of the Paramount Plus Originals team during one of the previous rounds of Paramount Global cuts, with the studios now handling development and current on Paramount Plus Studios. Now, that's a very interesting move we've seen in the past couple of years, particularly at Paramount. But now I think Warner's doing the same thing. Maybe Netflix does the same thing. But you're seeing a lot of consolidation when it comes to these groups of people whose jobs are more or less redundant. I'm not saying that you don't need multiple public relations and talent people, but there's a difference between the people at Paramount Plus and the people at Paramount proper. There's a reason why those talent streams never really crossed. The same thing goes for Max and HBO and Discovery. I'll tell you this, I'm already getting slow responses for interviews when it comes to TV shows. Maybe for casts of people I've already spoken. Maybe for casts of people who I was supposed to speak to twice before. And both times it's too slow of a response from their side. Or they just plumb forgot. Even though they give me the scraps for other. I'm not saying anyone's a scrap, but I'm saying if you're going to offer me, I don't know, the lead of your linear broadcast sitcom multiple times, the lead / producer, I don't know. Maybe just follow through with it. Just saying. I don't know, maybe. All across the entertainment industry, all across multiple industries. There's a strike going up in Jersey right now. The port strike. That's going to affect everything. I saw a headline that said something's going to affect Chattanooga, Tennessee. All of this. I'm sure it's going to affect Savannah, Georgia. I'm sure it's going to affect everything, because I believe Savannah might be another port city as well. But all of this is just another reason for these companies to look at the culture that they're all providing for their workers. If you want people to come back into the office, don't let there be a fear of them losing their jobs. Make the offices comfortable. And I don't mean like adding nap pods or any of that shit. I mean just making it feel like they're a part, like they have a say or something. You know, like they had like workers are able to contribute to something that's bigger than them and it be positive. If I'm building, if I work at Rivian and I'm building a car and I'm helping and I work on the assembly line, I should know that my safety is first and foremost. My job safety is after that, and that and I know that I'm happy and I'm helping. We're all going to have this final product that is a Rivian car. That's the reason I love working in television and film. The idea that I'm helping to make something that's bigger than what I can do alone. Not this horse shit like, oh, you have to put into your own work yourself. No, I just like the idea that's what, like when I was at Cartoon Network, that's like I was so proud. And to some extent CNN. I was so proud because I was contributing. I wasn't just a cog in the machine. I was leavening. I was the baking powder. Baking powder is a leavening agent. I was a baking powder in this cookie that is Warner Brothers. And I know that sounds stupid and cheesy, but that's what it was. You know? Somebody comes to me for a question. If I know the answer, I'll give them the answer. If I don't, then I'll go find the answer. Be it by digging around or by asking around. CNN, even though I was low on the totem pole, I was in the control room helping out. And I felt like I was right there with Sarah Seidner or Kate Baldwin or John or Rihanna, who yelled at me. And even though oftentimes at CNN I was treated like dirt, I was still like, I'm working at CNN. And even those people complained and bitched and moaned, even though they have good jobs, I never went in there. It was bad because I was like, oh, I'm working at CNN. And also, I'm in better shape than these people. It's very true. I mean, I'm in better shape than most people, but I was like, I'm much more handsome than these people. These uggos. Slugs. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop being mean. But that is the truth, is that I think for some people, it is they do the job just so they can, have the results of, I want to buy food, I want to be comfortable, I want to do this, or I'm just trying to get by or whatever. But my goal for every job is not for it to be a job. It's for it to be something I enjoy doing. And that is this, not even a dream, but that's why I'm going to quote Al Pacino from Any Given Sunday, inch by inch. You go, you dig. I want it more than the next person. And I'm going to take it by any means necessary. I don't know who that was. And and to see this, and again, I called it retraction. To see this retraction among the industry is gut-wrenching. And I don't know if we'll ever get back to FX CEOs, John Landgraf, his he was always, every single year at the upfronts, he was always like, there's 600 new shows, there's 800 new shows, there's 900 new shows. I don't know if we'll ever get back to that type of TV production. I don't know if we'll ever get back to, I watched like 7 movies in the past 3 days because a lot of them were like leaving streaming services. So I had to bunch them all in. But I don't know if we'll ever get back to, in the 80s. There were so much crap just coming out. We had Snake Plissken over here. We had RoboCop. We had Rambo. I know I just named 3 action movies. It was just so many. Major Dad. I couldn't think of anything else. Which is a sitcom. I understand that. And also that was in the 90s. Am I correct in that? Yes. But we just had a proliferation of TV shows, cartoons, movies, music, all this stuff, and it felt like we were back in that. And now we've hit a wall. And I would love to get back to a place where creativity flows and people are happy and work isn't work. It's not just a means to get by. Not a means to get by. But all these layoffs are just, man. And then to see Hoda leaving over $20 million, which again, I agree with her to leave. If they weren't going to pay you money, you earned it. Go ahead. Anyway, I don't know. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people sometimes. If you want to watch a video version of this interview, Jesus Christ. If you want to watch a video version of this show, or the video versions of the other podcasts, the Constitutionals podcast, which is the entertainment business news podcast, and Late Night Lately, which is the late night show, youtube.com/C+comedy. Subscribe to those podcasts wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook @C+comedy. Follow me on those platforms @Chad Black White. Thank you so much. Bye.